Friday, loosey-goosey edition. Good to be with you as always, loosey-goosey. I'm Jeff. That's Tom. Director Matthew not in sight. That's okay. We're all balling. We're making it happen either way. On Twitter, it is at Jay Cameron Show. And a good day to you, madam, sirs, all of you, whether you're driving around town, listening on 93.3 Real Talk Radio, or you're watching on Warchant TV by the thousands. Maybe this is later. Maybe this is much later. Maybe you're driving home as you listen to this after tonight's win over NC State and you throw on the podcast. And now I'm podcasting. It's everywhere. There you go. So that's a good thing. And it's good to have you on board. And the Tyson Legal Law Firm chat, I see you guys up there. Dolphin of the cap to all of you guys as well. Fun show today. Tommy, we had a nice conversation this morning. I had a good interview with Mike Capozzi, the pitching coach for Florida State. We got some answers to some serious questions, including the relative health and timeline for the return of some key arms as Florida State is coming in down the stretch now. This is a fun time. I think it's worth rehashing how it is we've arrived at a special place yet again, and to note how long it's been since Florida State has really been in this position. I've got some numbers to that end that'll scare you. I'm just excited. We've got meaningful baseball games at Hauser with the potential to be a top 8 national seed and a couple of series to go, realizing postseason baseball in Hauser may be returning, and it's been too long. How are you, brother?
Man, I'm good. I'm getting fired up for it now. This week, without the midweek baseball game, it just kind of stunted things. I very much enjoyed you pointing at me. Everything good?
I'm pointing at you because your computer's audio is on and not your mic.
Oh, really?
I hear you loud and clear. I hear you loud and clear, but it's doing that thing.
There you go. It's a good thing, Jamie wasn't doing anything crazy in the kitchen or they're blaring music or whatever, because you would hear that. But I enjoyed watching softball this week, and I always enjoy watching that program. And the comeback of 6 runs down in the 9th inning, unable to clear the hurdle and beat Florida this midweek. That was fun to watch. And they've had a really nice run. That snapped a 14-game win streak. So they're putting themselves in excellent position as they have their final ACC series of the weekend, this weekend, to be at least hosting a regional, which is a good job considering the pitching issues they've had. Yeah. But it's just this year has been more about baseball for me than softball for the first time in a very long time, because it's so stinking cool how quickly this thing has flipped and how quickly we've gone from a position where Florida State is just one of the worst teams in the conference to back to where we used to be, and used to be awfully comfortable, which is we should be hosting a regional. We should be hosting a super. It's in the crosshairs right now. You went 3-3 in your road series at Wake Forest and Duke. And dare I say, we probably could have gone 4-2 if that Wake series was played sequentially as it was supposed to be.
Correct.
Say, man, it's in their crosshairs, and this is a humongous opportunity this weekend. I'm sure, graduation or not, Hauser, and they have the ceremony tomorrow where they honor the Florida State baseball players pregame tomorrow night. Man, that place is going to be rocking this weekend. This is a big-time weekend.
Yeah, it's the old school feeling, and here's what I'm getting at, by the way. So I mentioned in the interview, you guys will hear the interview next hour with Mike Capozzi. It's going to run around 2:30-ish, somewhere in there. We have that. I did it earlier today. That was the time that he had, so we sat down this morning and talked, and I get into the conversation surrounding Ben Barrett, get into the conversation with Connor Whitaker, Cam Leiter. All of that is there. He was gracious with his time. I thought it was a wonderful, 15-minute discussion or so, and he's done a whale of a job. It's one of the reasons I wanted to talk to him. But in that discussion, I made mention of looking forward towards the end. I'm really looking forward to postseason play at Hauser. And we posted that. It's been up, and some friends of mine that heard it reached out and texted me and said, you do realize how long it's been, right, since we've played in a home postseason game at Hauser? Do you know?
Let's see. Let me do the math on it, because COVID obviously didn't happen. That was Mead's first year. So if you're working backwards, that means the year prior we did Athens followed by Baton Rouge. So the earliest it could have been was 2018. I'm going to guess it wasn't, though. Maybe 2017. What year was it?
You had it right. It was 2018.
Ah, son of a.
Our last home baseball game in the postseason was 2018. Now, a couple things stand out here. First of all, it's 2024 and a reminder of how fast time flies. I mean, that seems impossible. 6 years ago, 6 effing years ago was the last time we played in a home game at Hauser for the postseason. If you go back, 2019 through 2023 covers 4 postseasons, 11 regional and super regional games. 0 of those games were at home. 0. I just, I never thought I'd see the day. And, of course, all streaks end, and we had that amazing run of postseason appearances come to a close and all that, and it was well documented. But, man, if you had told me at any point going back to 1991 through, I guess, 2018, that there was going to be a stretch of 6 years where we wouldn't be good enough to have a home postseason game, I would have thought you were nuts. There's just no way. Now, that is a testament to the consistency and the consistent good play from Florida State for a very long time. But my goodness, that rattled the cages this morning when I got that text. I couldn't believe it.
Well, this is the other thing that's sobering too. Is I grew up on this program in the 90s, and I loved it so much watching on Sunshine Network, and sometimes they'd also be on the Comcast channel when they played Miami. Like, I go back as far as when they were on television a lot, because they're not on television at all anymore. It's kind of backwards. They're on streaming services. But if I asked you, thought experiment for those in the Heist and Lika chat or you, since the year 2000, so 2001 and on, how many times have we been to Omaha? What would the answer be? What do you think that the answer is?
It's not as many as we should. 4.
Okay, you went on the other side of it, like me. It's 5 times.
I was doing it real quick in my head. I thought it was 4, so 5. Okay.
So if I told you in 2001, as I was graduating 8th grade back in the day, how many times do you think by 2023 we're going to be in Omaha? You would have said 14. It's 5. The answer is 5.
You know why I didn't think of 5 is, for whatever reason, I always forget, even though we were there to see it, I forget about the miracle and improbable run to Omaha via Athens / Baton Rouge that you just referenced. And it doesn't tick in my head because that wasn't a good team.
Right.
They weren't any good.
I think we scored like 2 runs when we were out there too. But we won a game. We did not go barbecue. But 08, 2010, 2012, Posey was in there. And then guys like Scott Seitz, the mustache, were in there as well. And then 17 and 19, unlikely candidates. A couple of games against LSU. I think, at least the 2017 run, I believe we played against LSU. We had a bad relay, as I recall. But I shouldn't be able to recall these things because they should happen so frequently. I'm like, what year was that? 5 times. So, and it's been a 5-year wait. I'm not trying to look too far ahead because the journey here has been one hell of a ride, and I cannot wait for this weekend series. But if you think about it, if they're able to do this, become a top 8 national seed, slug their way to Omaha, it'd be the first time in 5 years, and it would be only the 6th time since 2001 that they've done it. And it's time that we get comfortable with that part of the discussion again, where we're already booking in our brain trips out to Omaha to see Florida State play in the College World Series. I'd like to get back there again, and it seems like we have a coach who's put us in position that that's possible again, to think about the routine nature of being one of the final 8 teams in the country.
So the whole thing now is the race to health and being able to listen, you can look at this a variety of ways. And again, I talked to Micah Posey. You'll hear it next hour. We get into what he's had to do with this pitching staff because of the injuries that they've incurred, and how he's tried to mix and match and, put guys in situations and all that stuff. And I think really it's quite remarkable what they've been able to do because, as you just alluded to, Florida State is a top 8 national seed as of right now. I think they project certainly to win the series this weekend. Now, you still got to go out and do it. It's a good NC State team. It's an NC State team that went to Clemson and won the series. So, they can play, and any given weekend they can take a series as well. But Florida State, if they play their best and NC State plays their best, Florida State will win this series. Take at least 2 out of 3, and onward we go. And they've got an opportunity here to take care of business in the regular season as to render the ACC tournament somewhat moot. Now, I've always thought it was dumb that the ACC tournament champion ends up being the champion of the league. This is just like in basketball. Nonsense. Why do you have a regular season where you're playing home and away and you're enduring injuries and you're dealing with the elements and you have all these things happen over the course of a season so you can go, play a truncated tournament and say that's your champion? That's stupid. But the point would be, what I would like to do is get in a position where it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I mean, you're trying to get back to Omaha. This is ultimately always the goal. You don't start the season and say, I want to win that tournament at the end of the year. The ACC tournament. Can't wait. Whatever we got to do, guys.
I can't wait to go to North Carolina.
Right.
And go watch this team play. I mean, those are cool ballparks up there, but yeah, none of us need to be saying in our lives ever, I can't wait to go to North Carolina to see us play for a trophy. Can we stop that? Yeah,
the thing of it is, I like winning them. We've won the ACC tournament plenty of times, and it's great. You get to claim that championship. But I maintain, if you finish with the best record in the ACC at the end of the year, you're the best team. You're the champion. That's the end of it. That's the way it works. But anyhow, what I want to point out is that, again, you have an opportunity to maybe make the postseason, that initial first stage of the postseason, meaning the ACC tournament, you could render it kind of moot. May not matter at all. I don't suspect that at any point, whether it be Connor Whitaker or Cam Leiter, that those two gentlemen are going to return to form, meaning they're going to be weekend rotation starters. Like, I don't foresee a scenario where they'll start and like let's say, like Leiter would return to the Friday role. Not going to happen. First of all, Jamie Arnold's earned that. It's his. Secondly, even if you wanted to say, well, he could be the Sunday guy, or you could, well, what I think they'll probably aim to do is they'll try to get Ben Barrett back at full health. They'll try to get, obviously, Cam Leiter back and get Connor Whitaker back. And then instead of piecing things together on Sunday with, tape and, it's glue and it's been awful. Like, you've had to just be like, well, okay, if we can get 2 outs here with him, 1 out here with him, we're on to the second inning. Can we get 3 outs between this guy, and this guy? Okay, maybe. Well, maybe we could try to do that. Like, they've really had to try to mix and match this thing, and they've really kind of been a mess on Sundays. A lot of teams are, but they have still maintained some semblance of a 1-2. I mean, obviously, what Arnold's done is amazing. I shouldn't say some semblance, a semblance. They've been very, very good. And now Carson Dorsey is really, really good because he has control of where it's going, and he's really pitching. So you feel good about Friday, Saturday. But, man, the way that you could feel good about a third game is if you had 2 or 3 more plus arms to throw into the mix of the hodgepodge of guys you've had to use on Sundays in the form of Johnny Holstaff. Now, if I'm getting 2 innings from Leiter or 3 innings from Leiter and 2 from Whitaker, and then I've gotten it to a place in the game where I don't got to score 15 runs to try to win on a Sunday. Basically, we all know the deal on Sundays. That's why we were all elated that they held on and won the second game of the series against Duke, because at that point, you had won the series. The third game wasn't going to matter. You'd like to win it. They're going to play it. You might as well try to win it. But you knew and I knew, well, if they're going to win it, they're going to have to win it 14-13, 16-15. Like, you just knew. I mean, they scored 2 runs in the first inning of that game on Sunday, and I'm like, going to need 10 more of those. I mean, everybody thought that, right? And we were right. Can you get to a place where that's not the case? Can you get to a place where your first 2 could beat anybody else's first 2, home or away? And that you have enough arms back healthy that people can be slotted where they're supposed to be slotted, and you don't need to ask a freshman or somebody who should never be put in that situation because they're not ready yet to try to go get big outs against elite lineups with the game on the line. Like, can you just push back all of the places that people pitch in some normal order that would make sense based on what they've proven to you up to this point in the season? Because right now they don't. Like, a lot of times you'll just see they're like, well, it feels – now I know there's a plan, but a lot of times when they get desperate, when they're walking the world on a Sunday, they're just rolling guys out there to see who can throw strikes. That ain't no way to be. It's not like, hey, like, here's how we're going to attack this lineup. It's, if this guy can throw some strikes, we'll keep him out there as long as we can.
There's no plan for guys who don't throw strikes. There's no plan you can make if you don't throw strikes, because it brings the world to a halt. You feel it as a viewer if you're just watching the game, and maybe you don't even have a dog in the fight, but you like baseball. If a guy walks a dude on 5 pitches and then he starts the next guy 3-0, it could be a game that you don't care about those two teams. You'll start to look around like you do in the line at a rental car place going, what are we doing here? Are we playing baseball? Can we field a game here? Let's play. Let's play the game. Come on, mound visit. Let's go. Let's fire it up. But then when it's your team and it's a second reliever and a third reliever, hey, he got out of the inning. But then he starts the next inning and you got 2 walks and 1 out. And you bring in another guy and he goes 2-0. It's a lonely ass feeling. That's a bad half an hour of your life. That's a bad half an hour. And I just, while you were talking about that, I pulled up the standings of the ACC and I had forgotten. There are divisions. Why? I don't know, but there are 2 divisions in the ACC standings. What does that net you? A better pool seating? Because they break it up into 4 when they actually get out there and they play the tournament.
It's dumb.
It's a pointless ass stuff there.
Yeah, the little silly round robin thingy. You're kind of just like, everybody's going to play this many games.
Yeah. Okay, so it's Monday at 10 a.m. It's Wednesday at 7 p.m. Thursday at 1. Okay, sure.
I guess the overriding point that I was making is that, again, we'll be watching very carefully to see who gets worked back into the mix. Probably none of the 3 I named this week, and certainly not 2 of the 3, but I think they're going to just try to do what they've been doing, win the series. And by the way, when we play at home, and this atmosphere will be great with these 2 night games, when we play at home, man, those bats, which are already good in that lineup, which is already lengthy, just seems to thrive off that energy, man. You guys out there who've been to these games this year, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, you sense it. I mean, it's unreal. That game earlier this year against Florida, the 19-4 ass beating, the humiliation of the University of Florida, you felt like even after the back-to-back home runs to start the game for Florida, it was like, oh, that's cute. They're fighting. They don't want to get swept for the year. And just watching our lineup and the way that they, I guess, showed maturity in their approach and their attack, when the retort happened, what was it, 5 or 6 runs in the first? Mm-hmm. In the retort, I think it was 5. As soon as it happened, you thought, the way this place feels, the energy that's going on here right now, Florida's going to need 20. Florida's going to need 15. Like, you knew we were going to hit. I feel that way every time I go over to Hauser. It doesn't always happen. But, man, this lineup loves playing in front of the home fans. It's interesting to watch the way they thrive.
Well, and one of the weird things about this team, you could call it a flaw, but it's something that we'll have to look at less and less as the games mean more and more. They understand when it's a big moment. They get when it's a moment that's important. And that might not be because the opponent's talented. Florida doesn't have many arms, especially in the midweek. It might not be because, Miami's coming to town with a top 5 team. They don't, and they didn't. But, they've got a good Friday.
Got swept, Tom, just so you know. They got swept by Florida State.
But they know it's a rivalry, and so they take that very seriously. And you can tell by the way that they play, they take it very seriously. Now, a Tuesday against a nondescript program, and, retired 6 out of 7 did this Tuesday guy after we dropped 30 runs over the weekend. Okay, I see you.
It's normal.
The good news is that that human nature thing won't apply to many of the situations down the stretch. Certainly not this weekend either, because this is a tremendous opportunity.
A news nugget, I guess I'll call it, that may impact Florida State's lawsuit with the ACC. We'll see. Something to update you on. I find it fascinating. It is within the ACC, and it involves Clemson. That's next. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
You probably already know that Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas is your one-stop destination for all pool maintenance needs, offering everything you need from chemicals, cleaners, vacuums, nets, and more. But that's not all. Pinch a Penny also carries a huge selection of premium hot springs hot tubs paired with easy financing options, making these luxury hot tubs affordable for everyone. And if you have an older hot tub and you're worried about the hassle of removing it, worry no more. Pinch a Penny will not only remove and haul away your old hot tub, but also offer a trade-in value for a credit towards your new one. So why wait? Visit Pinch a Penny's 12,000 square foot showroom today on Greer Road and discover how effortless and affordable owning a fantastic hot tub can be. Find out more at TallahasseeHotSpring.com. That's TallahasseeHotSpring.com.
Widden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. When you call Widden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Widden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. Widden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
Attention Florida, are you a victim of an auto accident? We introduce our live chat sponsor, Hyson Leka Law Firm, dedicated to representing injured clients statewide. If you've been in an accident, call Hyson Leka Law Firm at 813-803-0733 for a free consultation. Remember, there's no cost to you unless they win. Your interests come first with Hyson Leka Law Firm, the name you can trust for justice. Call 813-803-0733 now or visit HysonLekaLawFirm.com. Hyson Leka Law Firm, your advocate in times of need.
Law offices. We've partnered with RoadProof to access all interstate traffic cameras along I-10 from Pensacola to Jacksonville. Let us help you get the proof you need to stand up for yourself and get fair compensation for your injuries. Call us today and let us secure the proof you need to come back stronger. Basic Brooks, 850-777-7777. Offices Destin, Tallahassee, and Jacksonville.
The annual Shakespeare in the Park Festival at Cascades Park is right around the corner. On May 9th through 12th, the Southern Shakespeare Company is proud to present The Winter's Tale, a comedy that charts one royal family's journey of redemption. Main stage performances will begin at 7:30 p.m., but come early to enjoy vendors and food trucks on location. Join the fun with free admission for all ages. It's the Shakespeare in the Park Festival, May 9th through 12th at Cascades Park. For more information, visit southernshakespearefestival.org.
This is Patty Wilson.
Oh, I'm sorry. We're ready.
He's recording.
Why are you always saying your last name? It's Patty and Scott. Everybody knows
know that.
Patty and Scott.
I don't know. This is Patty Wilson. I am Patty Wilson.
What is the idea behind said promo?
It's for Patty's Playhouse. We're on Patty's Playhouse Saturdays at 11. Tune in. That's stupid. Just tune in. Saturdays at 11. Patty Wilson, Patty's Playhouse. House talk with a happy ending.
Each and every time.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50. For those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
The Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness. 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Rolling on a Libations Friday. Fun to do indeed. I'll get to the story I just referenced before the break in 1 second, but I want to remind everybody to do this because it's cool. It's an opportunity to do the right thing by somebody who has done the right thing by you, I would presume. Real Talk 93 and Basic Brooks Law Firm is looking for one tough mother to win a grand prize of 24 gift cards. There she is. I see it out of the corner of my eye. Well done. To a local restaurant for Mother's Day 2024. Total value is over $500. If you know a tough mother, we want to hear from you. It could be your mom, your sister, a cousin, even a friend. Anyone you know who is a tough mom, tell us their story. Go to realtalk93.com. Click the link to submit your nominee. The toughest mom will get $500 to spend around town at local restaurants. That's not like we're going to have to find a way to use that even after this promotion is over. I just like the mom with the spinning spoon.
Yeah, I like that. Also, it lined up today with your microphone, so it looks like she's smacking the mic, which is great. Actually, that's a segment-to-segment thing because you set it up. See, look at this. It lands right
there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right there. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you're right. If you're watching, there you go. That is, it's fun. All right. So I teased this before the break, and now I'll go back to it. But it's per Matt Baker at the Times, the dueling lawsuits between Florida State and the ACC are playing out in courts, Florida State University Board of Trustees versus Atlantic Coast Conference, and Atlantic Coast Conference versus Board of Trustees of Florida State University. And what he did and what he's been doing is giving updates under that headline, right? And then saying, this is the landing spot. I'll give you all the new updates as they happen. That's the way it's kind of gone. There was one today, and it is the ACC must provide an unredacted copy of its ESPN contract to Clemson within the next 7 days, according to a South Carolina judge. He's ordered that in an interim ruling. The contract remains confidential, can only be used for the litigation. That news comes from a filing submitting Friday morning. That's today. Contract is central to Florida State's lawsuits with the ACC, too. Obviously, last week, Attorney General Ashley Moody filed a legal complaint against the ACC over the document. Also, yesterday, Clemson's amended complaint against the ACC is public. The biggest change is that the Tigers are now seeking damages from the conference. Clemson says that the ACC slandered its title regarding its future TV rights. So, two nuggets of interest, the first being that and the other being what I led with, which is that they now must give the unredacted version of the contract. You would think that could have an effect on Florida State and their ability to get the same, right?
Yeah, I would think so. That's got more teeth than what the Attorney General is doing. I would think this is like the third time that the Attorney General has tried to, get documents from the playoff committee and other people, and they needed to respond by January 5th or something along those lines, and it never happened. So I think this South Carolina trial might provide a little bit more leeway for Florida State. It's nice to have a partner in the fight for once. That's good. And hopefully when this filing happens for Florida State some 21 days from now, where in the state of Florida, Leon County, they have all of those things done that they were supposed to, and that they passed muster for the judge in order to help things proceed in the state of Florida. I just wonder, we're now the calendar is moving along. I'm not shaken in confidence in terms of resolution, this calendar year, but August is looming. It's not that far away in legal terms, in terms of hearings, proceedings, appeals, and so forth. I hope that they all meet at the negotiating table, Florida State, Clemson, and the ACC, sometime in the next couple of months. I would think that they're going to, no matter what, meet at that table in the next couple of months to at least see if they're anywhere close on the number ahead of the August 15th deadline. I would think that they're at least going to do that. Whether they come to a resolution would be interesting to me. I wonder if they could actually do it in time for Florida State to declare that they are going to find a new home in 2025.
How interesting are those meetings going to be at Amelia Island this year?
Oh, yeah. Hopefully there's no puckering for the derriere from any athletic directors this time.
Oh, I think we've passed that place. For those that don't remember, a year ago, I was critical of Michael Alford, who I thought was kissing ass and going above and beyond what was necessary. You can play nice. I get it. You have to have an element of civility as you're trying to negotiate things that you want. Both sides do that. But I thought it was a little over the top in the praise at one point. Just one man's opinion. I like Michael Alford. He's done a good job and get along with him swimmingly. I just thought in that moment, I was like, come on, man. You don't need to go about the back patting all that much there with the, we've loved it. It's been great. They're doing it. No, stop that. Don't do that. But I think that ship has sailed, right? In negotiations, sometimes you'll posit, offer up the kindness of having a civil discourse because you're both wanting something out of the deal. But once it becomes clear that didn't work and nothing was going to move the issue forward in the way that you wanted, there won't be any of that this time around. There's been too many things said, including alleging that the former head of the ACC was utilizing his relationship with ESPN to get his son work. I mean, they attacked his legacy and his son's competence.
There are divorce proceedings that are nastier than that still end in mediation. an agreement that's settled outside of court.
No, mediation may still happen. I'm talking about when we go over to.
Oh, Amelia. I'm sorry. Yes.
No, mediation will absolutely, I think, possibly happen. Yes, I agree with that. No, I'm talking about, I don't think you're going to see the cameras on Alfred going, oh, it's been great. I talked to Jim yesterday. We had a cup of coffee. No, I doubt that.
No, what that's going to be about is recruiting more people into the team. More universities. Otherwise, when you're sitting there, it's the athletic directors meeting and they've got all the ADs and Jim Phillips in the room. I would think that Clemson and Florida State would just cross their hands and face the other direction and look at the corner of the room and just not listen. I'm here, present, and able to vote if I'm allowed, and then just look at the other side of the room.
I like to envision this being a situation where there's a group of friends that have had a falling out because a relationship somehow broke off, and some people are on her side, some people are on his side. And you're with this one group over here, and you know who the others in your friend group are that sided with her, and now you're all out to eat. You're all at a restaurant for somebody's birthday, and you had to come there to be there because even if you're kind of arguing with each other about who was on the right or wrong side in this breakup, you wanted to do the right thing and show respect for, I don't know, Steve's birthday. All right, so there you are. And maybe you got to the bar a little bit earlier with some people who are like-minded. And you begin over your first beverage to kind of submit your claims to the frustrations and anger that you feel regarding this issue. And then you're both getting into it and you're both in agreement. You're like, I'll tell you another thing. I always thought she was a runaround. I was sure of it. And then, well, there's whisper. No, I'm not here. That's not. Oh, here comes Bob. Hey, set it down. That's what I want this to be. Like, there's like Jim Phillips walks into the bar and like North Carolina, Clemson, and Florida State are going, I always thought he stole from you. Oh, well, here he comes. Stop. I'll pick that up later. I'm telling you, I think he robbed you blind. Okay, he can hear you. Jesus. Hey, Jim.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And then everybody's like, awkward. What's awkward, guys?
What did I miss, guys? What did I miss?
What was so funny? I heard a lot of laughing and carousing over here. What was it?
Nothing, Jim. How you doing?
Well, I'm fine. Yeah, a Chardonnay. Yeah, one Chardonnay.
Oh, nailed it. And on that note, it's the Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Your local news now.
Almost exactly 24 hours after a handful of local protesters were arrested at Florida State University, a group of Tallahassee activists gathered to demand prosecutors drop the charges against them. Tallahassee Community Action Committee and Tallahassee Students for a Democratic Society gathered at Lake Alberta Park in the capital city Wednesday for a brief press conference to support the 5 people who were arrested at FSU during a protest against the Israel-Hamas war Tuesday afternoon. The demonstrators, including 2 FSU students, were handcuffed and removed from FSU's Landis Green and charged with trespassing after they set up tents while protesting, which FSU officials said violated school policies. Everyone arrested Tuesday afternoon has been banned from campus, including the 2 students. The arrests come amid a wave of arrests at similar anti-war demonstrations across the United States that have spurred a series of detainments. This is Rachel Anay with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Slight chance for storms this afternoon. Otherwise, partly cloudy. High of 89, winds out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Partly cloudy again tonight. Slight chance for storms, 68. Thunderstorms likely tomorrow. Highs level off around 87, partly cloudy skies. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Currently, it's 85 degrees.
Searching for the best place to host an event for your friends and family? The Golf Club at Summerbrook is more than just a place for a round of golf. It's also one of the best choices for hosting and celebrating the most special days in your life. From rehearsal dinners and baby showers to corporate banquets and kids' birthday parties, you'll receive amazing personal service and attention to every detail when you choose the Golf Club at Summerbrook. Find out how affordable it can be and call us today at 850-894-GOLF. That's 850-894-GOLF.
haven't seen this guy since, what was it? Oh, shoot. You two at the Sphere in Las Vegas, baby.
Hey, how about that, man? Wasn't that fun?
Good show. Good show. Everything about it. Nearly perfect. Nearly perfect.
I had everything I could possibly want.
I wanted one thing, couldn't find it, and I looked everywhere. No Cubans.
What do you mean?
No Cubans.
There was Cubans.
No, I didn't see any Cubans.
Dude,
No.
I'm sure there was Cubans there. I mean,
No. I walked around. There was a moment right before the show. I thought, got to find some Cubans. Nothing.
Dude, there's Cubans. There was Cubans. I'm sure there was Cubans.
In Las Vegas?
In Las Vegas.
No Cubans in Vegas.
There's Cubans in Vegas, man.
Eddie, there were no Cubans.
Chef.
The sandwich. There were no Cuban sandwiches. You're Cuban. Of course I know there were Cubans there.
Oh, the sandwich. Yeah, no, there probably wasn't many there in Vegas.
No Cubans.
No, not yet.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com multimedia network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Hope your Libations Friday is rolling on swimmingly. Another reminder, if you're in the chat, that is the Heisen Lincoln Law Firm chat, dedicated to representing injured clients statewide is Heisen Lincoln Law Firm. If you've been in an accident, call them at 813-803-0733 for free consultation. Remember, there's no cost to you unless they win. Your interests come first with Heisen Legal Law Firm, the name you can trust for justice. Call 813-803-0733 now, or visit HeisenLegalLawFirm.com. Heisen Legal Law Firm, your advocate in times of need. Offices, Tampa, just like that. Yeah, I've always thought we'd get bogged down, Tom, and we would remain antsy, and that there would be moments where something seemingly, I don't know, banal would come out, and then I would get this call. Because I'll tell you behind the scenes, this is what I've done. I've tried to, for lack of a better term, arm myself with as many attorneys in this realm as possible so that I'm not left guessing. I just read little snippets here and there about the conference and the lawsuits, and I then call those folks. One's in Chicago, one's in Miami, one's here in Tallahassee, there's another one in Charlotte, and I call those guys, and I'm like, hey, let's compare notes, because I don't know what I'm looking at here. Not legally. I can read these words, and I obviously know what those words mean, but what does this represent in the overall case? What does this mean about the case going forward? And I think it'll be something that is relatively, it's not like a, oh my God, newsflash, this just happened, that means this is going to happen. I don't think it's going to play out that way. It's going to be a series of little missives that we'll read and we're like, and then I'm going to get contacted. We're all going to get contacted by our lawyer. People are like, that was a big deal. That thing you just read, that is a clear indicator based on, what I've seen in my career, that this is about to go to a negotiation, that this is about to shift into the dollars. And so I never, anytime there is news like that, you read it and you're like, is that a big thing? Feels like it should be a big thing, because I think we want it to be a big thing.
Yeah, it's and that's the thing that's difficult in explaining. Not that I have, all kinds of legal experience in this realm, because I do not. Sat on a couple of juries. That's it. Watched a little bit of TV. And then obviously listen to a lot of experts like you're talking about.
I too have watched the television.
Watch Matt, but like talking to actual lawyers who are in this realm and saying this is what matters.
Right.
It's not a gotcha statement in an opening statement of a hearing about, a motion to dismiss. Like, you might hear Florida State side rattle off all the things that you wanted them to always say to the ACC, to the judge, either in direct form or passive form in 10 minutes, and think like, yeah, I got you. That's nothing.
Victim testimony.
What's that? All right. It just
victim's testimony. Yeah.
Yeah. That may get you riled up, but you're going to hear that a bunch across many states, multiple states in which these things take place, and it won't matter at all until the end. And I think what we're trying to do here, which we've done a good job of explaining, I think, it's about what's the number. You can get tied up in all the legalese that you want, and either state's proceedings, and who's the judge, where did he go to college, and where does he get off talking about this stuff and implying the other, home cooking. Nah, man. It's about these legal proceedings helping move leverage from one side to the other, gain as much leverage as you can, so that when they do decide, and they are so ordered, those legal teams, to go meet with each other and discuss the number, that the number skews to our side of the scale of $130 million to $550 million. That's what this is all about. It's expensive to get to that place, and all of these proceedings are helping us get to that place. So the resolution just isn't magically going to happen like it's the end of My Cousin Vinny or something along those lines.
It'd be nice. As an aside, just you like an injection of things that make you smile on a Friday. We all do. So sometimes between, segments, when we go to commercial break, I'll catch up, refresh on something that is relevant to the show or a topic that I want to talk about, or double check the information before I go into this other segment, whatever it might be, right? And so in doing so, I was surveying a bunch of different websites, and I cut to this one, and there was a Q&A about the ACC and how it's expanded, right? And how now it's a bigger conference this year, and there'll be 17 teams, and how competitive will the new ones be, and how equipped are they, whether that's, Rhett Lashley, like basically looking at all these teams. And we've talked a little bit about that. But the next question under that in this mailbag that was sent in was ratings for teams for NCAA 2025. And I got, this is not even a segment. It's not a thing. I read that and went, oh, that is right. That is really close to being here. That is because you just got done talking about how, man, August is rapidly approaching. Yes. And so now is the 2025 NCAA football game. Rapidly approaching.
You raise an excellent point. I was on a pretty good roll there for about 3 weeks, playing some Madden a few times a week, just trying to get used to the machine, because I haven't played EA Sports football with regularity for a long, long time. And I understand that the engine that is the NCAA football gameplay is derived from Madden. So I'm trying to get caught up with modern day Madden to see, all right, what offense fits my philosophy for college the best? Is it a playbook from, say, the Eagles, because I want to be a little bit more physical and then throw it over the top?
Run the ball. Yeah.
Right. Is it the run and gun? Is it what is it that fits my tempo of what I want to do? And I got to tell you, if DJU's throw power is anything below 92 in terms of ratings, then those ratings adjusters did us a disservice, because we should have at least one or two players with 94 plus speed with that 92 throw, and then it's just about generating those one-on-one matchups and online play. I'm looking forward to this. Yes.
Well, and for me, what's happened in the time that the game went away to where we are now, my kids got old enough to be good at these things. So they play everything on their PS5. They've got the 2Ks and all the other things, and they've got the NBA game. They got wrestling. They got it all. And so now I know what's going to happen. They're going to pick. I told you I never picked Florida State because we're always too good. That was always the legacy, the history of Florida State on that game was that it was usually loaded. And so I always told you I wanted to be the coach at a place where there was a real challenge. So I'd always take over Army. And I would start with Army and build it back up. And I would very carefully put together the look that I wanted with the shields for some guys and not others. Black ankle tape to make us look slower, even though we were recruiting great speed. All of those things, right? Had the neck brace, all of it. But with Florida State, you were instantly kicking people's asses. You just had more talent than, even if it was like Preston Parker. You're like, well, I'm just going to destroy you with Preston Parker. He's just too good. There's nothing you can do about it. So I know they're going to take Florida State, and I want to see it right off the bat. That'll be the first thing I do, to see how they render Doak. What do they do with Doak, given the circumstances at Doak right now?
Oh, there's no way that they would take the time to put the hole in the side of the stadium. I think it would. Yeah.
That would be amazing. Incredible detail. You got half a field, gang.
Yeah, what a waste that would be, to spend that much time on putting the hole in the side and putting temporary seating up. It's going to look like it did last year in that video game. There's no way. But yeah, what traditions do they do? How smooth do they look? The other thing is, look, got to be honest, I'm a little nervous. I was a very good online player 10 years ago when this thing was 15 years ago.
The kids have passed you by.
I'm going to chin check myself. I'm going to go play. No drinking. Yeah, I used to have a nice little bottle of something that I would just refill and keep going.
Sailor Jerry?
Back in the day, yes. That's how long ago it's been. That's how long ago it's been. And I would still tune up mofos. I would still tune people up.
When I met Tom, everybody, so this is the difference in our age. He's what are you, 38? You're about to be 38?
In 5 months, yeah.
Yeah, so okay. 38 going on 60 is Tom. I always tease him about that. But here's the point. He was just getting started in his career, so he didn't have any money. And we would talk about where we were going that night or what we were going to have over the weekend or if friends were coming over, what kind of, if we're barbecue, whatever it would be. He's like, I'm going to give you some Sailor Jerry.
Yeah, brother.
Sailor Jerry.
It was either that or
I wanted to slide you a 10 and be like, why don't you step it up?
Well, from the bottom of my heart 15 years ago, why didn't you? It was either that or Captain 100, but I would go to Poor Paul's on a Friday because it was $2.50 top shelves, $2.50 top shelves. And that was the life. You felt bougie for 1 day a week.
Yeah.
And then the rest of those days you're having the Sailor because it's double strength. So it's more bang for your buck. And I would play NCAA football and it was a glorious time. But now I'm going to log on and I'm going to get smoked. I just know it. And the question is, what's the bounce back? Is the adjustment going to get me back to anything close, or is it just over and I need to play in dynasty leagues with my friends because I'm too slow?
You could probably, I'll play in the same league you will, and we'll just be, we'll think we're really good, but we're not playing kids who would beat us by 50.
Right.
That's the problem. Yeah.
I'm still legitimately good at Halo because I play with my nephew. I never play on my own anymore. But I think no young people play that game. They're all playing Fortnite. So I think I'm just playing with a bunch of me's out there. I don't think I'm playing with a bunch of young kids who are really fast. So we're going to find out the hard way here in a couple months.
I remember you once said, what do you know about Sailor Jerry? Sailor's all right.
That's right. That's right. Well, because we went to the 2010 basketball championship, and that was at the Georgia Dome, as I recall.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was 10. Because we went to the championship game and lost. We lost to Duke on championship Sunday, but we beat North Carolina. We had a reverse lay-in by Derwin against Georgia Tech. We were about to blow it and lose to Georgia Tech. Anyway, we go to the liquor store beforehand to sneak some in. And I said, you guys have any Captain? And he said, no, we've got Sailor Jerry. I'm like, oh, what? I know about the Sailor. I'll get some Sailor. And he goes, I'm so sorry. We've run out of Sailor. All we have is Admiral Nelson. And I'm like, Admiral Nelson, bring it on. I love the Admiral. Let's go. I knew all of the maritime rums. I knew them all.
Further down the shelf, you can get Brigadier Jones. That's a very tasty. Have you ever had some Brigadier Jones?
I think that's just witch hazel in a bottle. Yeah, you know it.
Hey, don't sleep on Brigadier. I've had it. We're good to go. Yeah. That's awful. Well, so anyhow, that was just a shot of life I wanted to bring to the table here. I wanted you guys to be able to smile because here we are, 2025, NCAA football comes back and the reasons to celebrate are bountiful. And now it almost feels realer. This is we're at countdown stage. We've entered the summer. Not that we won't have stuff for you, but we've entered all right, how close are we to getting to where we are? That every year we do the celebration at 100 days.
Yep.
When we get to 100 days, that's a party.
Well, and in that time, and I like Tony's point here in the Heisen League chat. He says, funny, the higher the rank, the worse the rum. So I guess, Brigadier would be pretty bad. We need PFC or whatever the equivalent of a private first class is or an enlisted man to get the best rum that there is. Streaming video games has become a thing in the time between then and now for NCAA football. I think it would be tremendous content to have you playing NCAA football in a stream setting, have your sons help set it up for you, talk smack to people, and maybe you could set up a private league that people can play against you, and it's just only Miami. Like, you're only Miami fans that can play against me. And then if you beat them, we post those videos of you just talking smack
over and over again.
People the chat would drive themselves to that. I know you people out there would. Why elevate this possibility of Jeff talking crap to people playing video games against them?
I would cross a line. I would say something that I shouldn't say publicly. It would be on video. I wouldn't be able to escape it. you know it's Miami fans. Like, come on. You know that it would be awful. I would ruin my career over a video game because of this idea that you have. I don't want to make it sound like I house hatred in my heart, but I loathe Miami in a way that is
okay. Maybe that's a step too far. Maybe we could do that just for Miami week. But I think what you have to do if you play somebody who has Miami is force them to call something like a simple run, not even a draw on 3rd and 16. Like they have to fail in 2 or 3 situations a game in order to keep this thing realistic and then see if they can overcome those failures of their head coach.
Before we get into hour number 2, which will feature my interview with Mike Capozzi from earlier today, I want to tell you about my friends at Tried and True Consulting. It's a payments and business solutions company owned by fellow Noles. As Noles, they want to do the right thing. They're committed to reducing costs and increasing your bottom line. Give back 10%. They do 10% of their net revenue to the Battles Inn. Hit the trifecta today. Scan that QR code. It's on the screen right now, or you can call Alumni's Don or Joe at 844-464-6653. That's 844-I'm4Noel. That's what that is. I'm for Noel. Go Tried and True today. Check them out. There it is on the screen. Scan that sucker, and you're good to go, man. I really appreciate it. I just talked to them today. One of them, housed in Orlando, Don is making his way into town for the big Florida State NC State series. I'm telling you, my dad coming into town this weekend for this series. A lot of people making it feel like it's old school, like it used to be, where there's something on the line here. There's something to be gained. There's something to protect.
So your dad's going to be in Section B what night? Tonight?
I turned you off. Oh. Yeah, Dad's coming in tonight.
Okay. I'll be on the lookout.
Good times. Chef Cameron Show 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV.
Oh my God, what happened to you? You're walking so crooked.
Well, I was walking my alligator and I tripped on a cypress knee and I spilled my margarita.
Oh my gosh, your margarita.
Yeah, I'm blowing my back completely out. I had to ride the alligator home. I don't know what to do. My back's killing me.
You're such a Florida man. You should know you should go to Finn Chiropractic.
Really?
You can go to their website and book an appointment and get you in as soon as possible. Go to finnchiro.com, FENNCHIRO.com.
You mean 24 hours a day I can make my appointment online and pay for it?
Yep, right on their website.
Wow, and it's discounted?
Yeah.
All right, that's what Florida man needs to do.
No lines, no waiting. Visit FenChiro.com to book your next appointment with a discount. FENNCHIRO.com. That's FENNCHIRO.com. It's Fen Chiropractic, where the chiropractors love you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Hold my beer. I'm going to Finn Chiropractic.
When you need a plumber quick, how long is an acceptable time to have to wait?
Yeah, hey, it's the Millers again. I'm just calling you about our little plumbing problem.
2 hours?
Hey, we were hoping you can get here soon because the water is getting really bad. I mean, please hurry.
4 hours?
I know you said you were on your way, but, honey, tell the kids to tread water.
8 hours?
Don't worry about us. We're
At M&L Plumbing, you'll never have to wait long for quality, dependable service right when you need it. At M&L Plumbing, we listen to our customers, and our qualified technicians aim to achieve 100% customer satisfaction. So the next time you need plumbing work or repairs, think of the name M&L Plumbing, your local plumbing experts, commercial or residential. Give us a call, 850-575-9393, or visit us online at mndlplumbing.com. M&L Plumbing, for all of your plumbing needs.
Basic Brooks and Real Talk 93.3 want to make things just a little bit easier this Mother's Day by giving one tough mother 24 gift cards to local restaurants for Mother's Day 2024 worth almost $500. Do you know a tough mother in your life? We want to hear from you. Visit realtalk93.com and click the link to submit your nominee for a chance to win almost $500 in gift cards. This year, the law offices of Basic Brooks recognizes how tough it is to be a mom.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take-home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas Wall, featuring 560 inches of flat-screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show. Live and local on Real Talk 93.3. WVFT. Greta, Tallahassee. The latest betting odds and line movements from Vegas. This is your action update. Now here are your latest lines from our guys in the desert.
Braves hosting the Mets today at Tropicana Field. Aaron Savali pitching for the Braves, $1.35 favorite. Jose Quintana for the Mets plus 114, 8 flat the total. Braves and Dodgers in Los Angeles. It is Charlie Morton on the hill for Atlanta, minus 108. Gavin Stone for the Dodgers, minus 112, 9.5 under the total. Florida State Seminole baseball, the $2.50 home favorite today in game one of their ACC series with North Carolina State. Wolfpack the plus 190 underdog. The Cleveland Cavaliers, a 4-point dog at Orlando today. Magic look to force a Game 7 back in Cleveland. Get your free VSiN subscription right now at VSIN.com. For more sports betting news and information, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, Real Talk 93.3.
Are you ready for Mother's Day? Macy's Friends and Family is going on right now. It's the perfect time to save on the perfect gift for mom with an extra 30% off designers that rarely go on sale when you use your coupon or Macy's card. And take 15% off makeup, fragrances, and more beauty favorites she'll love. Plus, get your Mother's Day gifts even faster when you pick up in-store or curbside. Today at Macy's. Savings off regular sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
Fabric Talk. Hey, it's me, your couch. Today's my favorite day of the week. Febreze Fabric Spray Day. The occasional deep cleans are nice, but in between, you know I'm needing a refresh. Ooh, here she comes with the Febreze Fabric Spray. Oh yeah, spritz them armrests. Don't be shy. Nothing like a good spray down to get me smelling so fresh and clean. Don't forget my back. Nice. Febreze Fabric Spray. It's just that easy. Now we can both breathe. Happy Febreze. La 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 la.
If you've been waiting and waiting for the perfect time to buy your new house, you'll be waiting forever. This is Shannon Young with Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, and I have been a mortgage lender for over 20 years. And I can tell you that there is no such thing as perfect timing. So take the first step towards your new home and let me show you what that really looks like. Chances are very high that you'll be very surprised at what I can help you do. When rates go low, prices go high, and that home that you've been eyeballing could be gone. If you're wondering how the drop in interest rates is going to affect your payment, give me a call. I'll be more than happy to show you all of the options available to get you into your new home. And for every single loan that we close for a fellow Knoll, I will personally donate $250 per closing to the Battle's End. Let's do this together and let's keep climbing. Call me today at 954-369-6171. That's 954-369-6171. Or you can find me online at loansforknolls.com. That's loansforknolls.com.
Equal housing lender. NMLS number 373031.
I'm Greg Tisch, here to share one of my favorite TCC stories. In the summer of 1966, Eugene Lamb wanted to stay in shape before leaving to play college basketball in Louisiana. So he jogged to Tallahassee from his home in Midway and helped lay the bricks for the first building on what's now the TCC campus on Appleyard Drive. Today, he is a longtime member of the TCC District Board of Trustees. It's no exaggeration when we say Trustee Lamb helped build TCC into what it is today.
TCC thanks our community for 58 years of support. We look forward to moving into the future together.
Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
Broadcasting live from Florida's capital city, this is the Jeff Cameron Show, brought to you by Orange Theory Fitness on Real Talk 93.3. Now, stop what you're doing and listen closely. It's time for the Jeff Cameron Show in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Innovations Friday. Well, I'm Quick Jaw McGraw on that music, aren't I, Tommy? I'll tell you what.
I'm really surprised. One thing I did not expect from you doing the George Jetson and pushing the ones and twos was that you would fade out your own music so quickly. I really think that is the most complimentary thing that you could do for the Heisen Leaka chat for our listeners and viewers on the visual medium. You love them so much that you're getting the music down sooner than ever.
I want to get into the talking. I need them to be able to hear. I also don't want us to get zapped. I hate that we've had to go this route because of the stupid rules with YouTube and what's happened. And I miss bumper music. I miss exploring new things to bring to the bumper music table. It was a character on the show. It was also a reflection of me. And I wanted stuff like that out there so we could connect or not or whatever it was. But, man, once it happened, you just cut it off, Tom. It's just time to move on. Time to get going.
I didn't put you or peg you as an Old Testament man. If something gets out of line, you cut it off.
I was of the mindset, like, I don't want it to just linger and be sad about it for weeks and weeks. I'm like, that's it. It's over. The dream is over. It happened. We got to move along. What are we going to do? Sit here and wallow in sorrow? We cut it off and we move forward. That's all we can do. By the way, I'm Jeff. That's Tom. On Twitter, it's @JCameronShow. Thank you, Zaxby's. We love you, and we appreciate you being here for us each and every day on the Jeff Cameron Show and sponsoring what we do. Hey, support those who support us. It does make our dream of doing good sports talk radio and having good content for you on warchant.com and Warchant TV and everywhere else, whether it's the podcast or it's Wake Up Warchant, Jeff Cameron Show, you name it. Anything we do with recruiting makes it all possible because of supporters like Zaxby's. Absolutely. And when you hear these folks, I mean it from the bottom of my heart, they really do make all of this possible, make our dreams kind of come true. So we joke around a lot and have a good time, but we do like Zaxby's food. We love their support, and we appreciate them being here day after day after day. 119 locations in Tallahassee, 119 locations as you make your way into town for the Big Florida State-NC State series starting tonight.
We should have let Danny from Zaxby's build out the renovations to Doak Campbell Stadium. With the amount of erecting of brand new Zaxby's locations in the Tallahassee area this week. Didn't we start in the low 70s and we got all the way to about 120?
Yeah.
You would have had the Doak renovations, the football only facility done in about 10 minutes with how this guy expands. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's we've seen it as high, I think it's 246 locations. They had to downsize a little bit, went all the way down as low as I think 44 locations at one point. Now here we are at 119. It's amazing. The way they can come and go, depending on the market. But I know there's always a lot of Zaxby's loving around town, so wanted to get that out there while we were here right now. No Malik McLean conversation yet. I saw some of you in the chat ask the question. No Malik McLean. I haven't, unbelievably quiet. We vetted this yesterday, talked all about what the reasons were for it. That continues to be the case. Nothing new has come to light, man. There's nothing more to point to here. But I still remain somewhat surprised. I kept waiting on a phone call, had a source that I thought might text me and say, hey, by the way, a little bit of a rumbling that perhaps this is possible, or maybe they're going to get crickets, buddy. They like their team. Coaches like their team. Now, there are other circumstances, but the coaches like their team. They feel good.
They like their team more than that market. And that happens in professional sports too. This is novel to us, this period of time in college football. And I think it's going to shift even more. It'll settle at some point, maybe in the next 5 years, and we'll have rules and regulations and television networks for everybody and all that kind of stuff. But there are different draft class qualities that we see, just like recruiting classes. This is a thin year for defensive tackles. This is a thin year for quarterbacks. But now with the portal, we have to get used to that as well, that this window might be a weak one for positions X, Y, and Z relative to the winter window. And it seems to me, it's too early. Sample size is too small. But it seems to me like both the universities and the players want to get it over with postseason, meaning the winter window. They would rather make their move in their winter window versus after spring practice. We'll see if that becomes the truth of the portal windows or if it's just an outlier for this year. But if you think about the movement that happened closer to New Year's and in the first couple of weeks of January, and the big name players that were going from place to place relative to this portal window after spring practice, the action wasn't just Florida State in January. Everybody else was getting their job done at that particular point in the calendar. And it makes all the sense in the world because you want to get a spring camp under your belt to give you and your talents the best chance to be on the field in the fall. So maybe that becomes the new normal.
Yeah, and I'm always looking for these kind of not subtleties, but these moments where you can say, okay, now we know this about the portal. Now we know this about a cycle in the portal. Now we know how these teams are going, how these collectives are working. Now we know what, regulations are maybe on the way and what, because you're just always seeking clarity so that you have a better understanding of how, certainly to lend context to the conversation that we're having here on the show on a regular basis, just like what to expect and why. I know you saw a certain somebody who is tasked by CBS to talk college athletics and came forward and admitted that he was a clown for saying what he said. Josh Pate is who I'm referencing, admitted to being a clown for predicting that there would be a mass exodus from schools everywhere. Good for him. This isn't to shine the light there, but he wasn't the only one. There were so many that were beating that drum.
Oh, it's a tactic that perhaps is employed by many outlets, to use emojis and or all caps lettering and graphics and things like boom, hashtag boom or whatever in order to drive clicks and create their own little fancy world. But he was not alone. There were a lot of people, and it didn't make sense. Like, why is everybody conspiring? Like, are these kids colluding with each other and saying, all right, you ready? We're going to take the world by storm on April 15th. I never understood that. Kudos to people who call themselves out when they get it wrong and they made a grave mistake. Perhaps there are folks in television who could learn from Josh Pate.
Good luck. Good luck. Side story worth noting here that I didn't get to yesterday because it is rather amazing. The NCAA's national office might be footing the bill for a settlement expected to be more than $2.7 billion in the landmark House versus NCAA lawsuit and other related antitrust cases in hopes of reshaping and stabilizing the college sports industry. That according to sources and ESPN. This week, those parties have proposed the NCAA's national office, rather than its individual member schools or conferences, would pay for the settlement of past damages over a period of 10 years. The NCAA payments would be paid to former college athletes who say they were illegally prevented from making money by selling the rights to their name, image, and likeness. The settlement would come with a corresponding commitment from conferences and schools to share revenue with athletes moving forward. The settlement would establish a framework for power conferences to share revenue with their athletes in the future. Those schools are anticipating a ceiling of nearly $20 million per year for athlete revenue sharing moving forward. That figure is derived from a formula that is expected to be, per sources, 22% of revenue metric that is still being discussed, which is set to be based on various revenue buckets. It would be up to the schools to share that much. The dollar value and timing, sources caution, is not set, could change due to the myriad variables involved in this case. But how about that? $2.7 billion.
That is a step in the right direction. The only issue that I have, and don't call me out for being misogynistic here, this is just the reality of sports.
Yeah.
Is, does that now fall under that 20 million, call it a budget of 20 million under Title IX where you got to split it 10 and 10?
I would hope not.
Because, that's the way it worked. That's the way it's worked for a long time. I recall back when I was in school and the years thereafter, like football and soccer were on the same plane of total cost of attendance and stipends and things of that nature. I'm not out to get Olympic
Oh,
sports.
man, look, but
or
Olympic
women's
sports are what they are. That's right. There's like 17 people sometimes watching tennis. That's correct.
Correct. Exactly. Now you could point to the ratings for the women's Final Four, and you could say, well, maybe that's more than a drop in the bucket for, say, Iowa or South Carolina women's basketball or LSU.
Very, very select schools. Sure.
Fine. I understand that. But by rule, are we having to divide the pot in half between essentially Olympic sports that generate no money and football and basketball, which bring in the absolute lion's share? Because if the answer is that you still have to divide it that way, then we're not that much closer. It is a big step, but that's not the final part of the equation that gets you where you want to go. I do think that you have to allow for a provision that allows you to operate outside of Title IX in this situation in order to get equitable pay for the thing that people watch, for the reason that they put their butts in the seats.
This is what's going to happen when we have the Big Two break away from everything else.
Yeah.
I think that is 100% what's coming. That's where we're going. And, everybody else who's not, I guess, taking the plunge or jumping in with every, there are plenty of schools who just cannot do that and will not do that. And then they will be governed under the old rules, Tom, I would think, the NCAA. And this Big Two, ESPN and Fox separated, will have different rules. And I think that's probably one of them, by the way.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it works both ways. Like softball would generate more money, more NIL than baseball. We'd have to supplement that on the other side. Softball's ratings are higher, especially in the postseason. So, you need to look at TV ratings and I think derive your payout structure that particular way. And I understand, let's see, who said it in the chat? Live Spectator. Gee, that payout won't be open for abuse, right? I mean, all of the system, NIL system, the $1,000 handshakes, all of this is on whatever the honor system. That's the other part of it, where the enforcement side of the equation. If you abuse the system, you lose your TV payout or a percentage of your TV payout.
There'll have to be severity to the punishments. Yeah, something with real teeth. Yeah.
Reducing Scallies by 2 or 3 over the course of 2 years does nothing. But if you say that for every major infraction, you lose 10% of your television payout, that'll change the tune. And that will also change the policing within the athletic department of,
correct.
Hey, this guy's out of line. We're going to lose. Go ahead.
And it's one of the things where you'd say, we fought hard to get here. We're part of the group now. We're all eating from the money trough now. Listen, somebody rolls past at 180. I'm turning them in. That's it. We're not doing this anymore.
That could be $7 million to our athletic budget. Yet, no, man, that ain't happening.
Yeah. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio and Warchant TV. We'll continue a second. Come back and do Red Zone. Sounding like a good time. And then at the bottom of the hour, we'll get to our friend Mike Capozzi, pitching coach for Florida State, joins us this hour.
A cup of Joe, Java, Brew, Go-Go Beans, Brainwater, Liquid Lightning, Wakey Juice, whatever you call your cup of coffee, you're missing out if it's not Grassroots Coffee. At grassrootscoffee.com, you'll find an easy way to order the best roasted coffee beans available. It's very simple. Choose the blend you want and how you want it ground, and the bag you receive will have the date your beans were roasted and packaged on it, all written by hand and signed by the roast master himself. You'll know that's as fresh as it gets. You can get Grassroots outside of your house also at some of your favorite restaurants in town. Next time you're out to eat, try asking for Grassroots Coffee by name, because there's a good chance they will have it for you. And if you own a business, Grassroots Coffee has options to stock your break rooms with all the productivity powder your team needs. Plus, like some other options that you'll find at work, Grassroots Coffee actually is a part of our community. Hit grassrootscoffee.com today and get yourself a treat. Some locally owned, locally roasted, and locally loved Grassroots Coffee.
You probably already know that Pinch a Penny Pools and Spas is your one-stop destination for all pool maintenance needs, offering everything you need from chemicals, cleaners, vacuums, nets, and more. But that's not all. Pinch a Penny also carries a huge selection of premium hot springs hot tubs paired with easy financing options, making these luxury hot tubs affordable for everyone. And if you have an older hot tub and you're worried about the hassle of removing it, worry no more. Pinch a Penny will not only remove and haul away your old hot tub, but also offer a trade-in value for a credit towards your new one. So why wait? Visit Pinch a Penny's 12,000 square foot showroom today on Greer Road and discover how effortless and affordable owning a fantastic hot tub can be. Find out more at TallahasseeHotSpring.com. That's TallahasseeHotSpring.com.
Have you been injured on I-10? I'm Dana Brooks of Facing Brooks Law Offices. We have partnered with Roadproof to access all interstate traffic camera footage along I-10 from Pensacola to Jacksonville. Memories fade and witnesses disappear. Securing important video footage now can make sure your claim receives the full attention it deserves. Call us today and let us secure the proof you need to come back stronger. Facing Brooks, 850-777-7777. Offices Destin, Tallahassee, and Jacksonville.
Hey, let me tell you about my friends at Tried and True Consulting, a Seminole-owned business that specializes in payments and business solutions. Tried and True's core expertise includes card, ACH, point of sale, mobile, e-commerce, and hosted payment solutions. Tried and True will help you reduce costs and increase your bottom line. That always sounds nice. Whether you're a retailer, restaurant, licensed professional, or service industry, Tried and True is saving you money. Tried and True's expertise extends to payroll, video menu ad boards, IT services, web design, and social media. It's time to make one call and tell the competition to take it on down the road. Call Don or Joe today at 844-464-6653. That's 844-464-6653. When you do business with Tried and True, they contribute 10% of the net revenue to the battle's end. So go Tried and True today. Call 844-464-6653. Science-backed, technology-tracked, and coach-led. Hey, Jeff Cameron here. You've heard me rave about the benefits of Orange Theory Fitness and the proven track record of science-backed interval training. Well, now Orange Theory Fitness has done it again, adding more ways for you to improve your health and look your best. In addition to the always great standard workouts, OTF has added Tread 50 and Strength 50 for those in the mood to just lift for an afternoon or attack those cardio goals for the day. Take the guesswork out of exercise. Make sure you're getting the most out of each and every workout. Orange Theory Fitness, location Midtown Tallahassee and Village Square Boulevard.
Orange Theory Fitness, 2 Tallahassee locations, Midtown on Thomasville Road and Northside in the Village Common Shopping Center. Online at orangetheoryfitness.com.
Jeff Cameron Show rolling on, Libations Friday. Yes, I'm doing a lot all at the same time, Tom. You saw that.
I did. And I sent you a little note about making sure we have enough time for Micah Posey to your telephone. So just so you know.
I'm excited about the interview we get to share with everybody with Micah Posey. I think you guys are going to like it. It's good. He's candid and fun to talk to. And he joined us a little bit earlier this morning, a little bit earlier in the day, and it's right here on the verge of being a big night. Next 2 nights, next 3 days, in a series where you can feel like you're cementing your place in that top 8 as a national seed so that you're hosting. Because, look, you know, where they are right now, it really looks good. You don't want to be in a position to have to go on the road for like an Arkansas or an A&M or something like that. Like with the way that this has worked for our bullpen on the road, yeah, no, I'd rather be here. Let's try to keep it here. Let's see what we can do. You know, maybe end up in that 5-12 or somewhere in there, right?
Yeah, that it would be advisable in this particular situation. Yes.
All right, let's do this. I hinted at it. I don't know what you're going to ask me, so I do appreciate that. But
it's all football. I can tell you, it's all football.
All right, beautiful. Let's do the Red Zone. Brought to you by our friends at Artisan Financial Strategies. Cue it up.
Welcome to the majesty.
Every freaking rep.
The elegance.
To win the game. Oh, he hits the upright. It's no good.
You have entered.
Someone burned down the funeral home. You burnt the funeral home.
Lives will be changed.
Sideline. Touchdown. Unbelievable.
Mothers will cry.
When you see your players give all that they have and you lose that way, it's tough.
Legacies are etched into eternity.
I know who I am.
North, South Dakota was his brother from West Virginia.
This is the Red Zone.
That's good to know.
We all know how important it is to score in the red zone. Eventually, you want to be prepared for success in the retirement red zone, right? 5 years leading up to your retirement date, the immediate 5 years after, critical times for thoughtful planning. You and your family, we know that. Our friend and fellow Knoll, Adam Tolliver, and his team at Artisan Financial Strategies will prepare you, get you set. You'll win. It's a good thing. They do their job, and they do it well. They're making sure you know how much you can spend without running out of money. That seems pretty straightforward. protecting yourself and your family against the rising healthcare costs, or carefully planning your legacy, the Artisan team brings a combined 30-plus years of planning experience, world-class resources to help you navigate the way. For more information, head over to NoelRetirement.com. That's NoelRetirement, one word, .com. Thanks again to Adam. He's awesome to work with and a great partner and a great Noel and his team at Artisan Financial Strategies. Kick ass. That's a nice way of saying it. All right, Tom, short version today because we got to make way for Mike Posey. By the way, Adam's a huge baseball guy. Was a good player himself. Loves baseball. He's probably excited to hear Micah too. Let's talk. What do you got for me?
Okay, I'm going to let Optimus Climb cut in here for question one. Yes or no, is Malik McClain a take in your eyes / the coach's eyes? What do you think?
I want to know the extent of the injury he suffered at Penn State.
Okay.
That's the whole answer. I liked Malik McClain. I thought he was on the rise when he chose to leave to go to Penn State. And when that happened, I understood it because he was not going to be the one here. I thought, he was going to wrestle for significant snaps, the kind of snaps he wanted. I think he fancied himself the guy. Nothing wrong with that, by the way. I like receivers with confidence, and most receivers have a lot of confidence in themselves. And I think he got, probably told that he'd have a opportunity at Penn State. It's a good program. They're solid. They don't win games that matter. They always lose against good teams, but they routinely win 10 games. So I thought he made that decision, and then he got up there and he got hurt. Did not much of anything while he was up there, and the numbers bear that out. But if he's healthy and he wants to come back, that's the depth piece. He knows the culture. He knows the offense. I wouldn't have a problem with it, but I need to know what kind of injury he had and how did it affect his play?
Okay, so it's about 2.5 minutes. First down, this is the traditional first down. The position group you feel best about, now knowing what you know about the portal and the lack of activity, is which position group?
Well, I think they're loaded at running back. They've got a lot of different guys that can do a lot of different things. So the versatility is there. The speed is there. The strength is there. They've got a couple guys that can really catch it out of the backfield. So I don't know how you couldn't look at that and say they're really deep at that position. The secondary is probably the most talented group on the field. So I would look at the back end, especially at corner. If you wanted to separate it between safeties and corners, I think they got a ton of corners.
Yeah, I think corner is a good answer. I think defensive end has suddenly become a very good answer as well, with how Marvin Jones has ascended. And this is the coaches saying that. Okay, now to concern levels. Concern levels, scale of 1 to 10. How concerned are you about defensive tackle?
Oh, first of all, I love our starters, and I'm pretty okay with our backups too. No, I a 5,
okay,
4, something like that. Yeah.
So less than.
They need one more guy. That's all, really.
Okay. How concerned are you 1 to 10 about wide receiver?
Probably less so than some others, because I do believe some of that was a byproduct of a really good secondary facing a quarterback learning a brand new system and an influx of players that were also learning the new quarterback and the new system. So that doesn't answer all of it, but I would probably put that at a higher level than I am defensive line. So, okay, I'll play the game. 6.
Okay. In the last 30 seconds, your level of concern about linebacker, 1 to 10.
My problem with linebacker, first of all, the position has been minimalized. We know that in the modern game. I feel like we should have a higher level of talent at the position, but we're not at a shortage of guys in terms of who can play it and play it pretty well. So I'm not as concerned about that. By the way, thanks to Artisan Financial Strategies. We love you. Appreciate you. Your support is always appreciated. Coming up next, Mike Posey joins us on the Jeff Cameron Show.
Your local news now.
A woman who was fatally hit by a vehicle Monday evening in Tallahassee has been identified as an FSU sophomore, 20-year-old Elizabeth Ellie Sims. She was hit by a car while walking near West Pensacola Street. The crash happened around 6:40 p.m. Monday near the intersection of Lorraine and Pensacola Street. The Tallahassee Police Department announced Tuesday the arrest of 18-year-old Willis Trueblood Jr. for leaving the scene of the fatal hit and run. Witnesses told investigators that Sims was using the crosswalk when she was hit. Trueblood Jr. and the vehicle involved were both located less than 2 hours later, officers located the damaged vehicle at the intersection of Liberty and Fulton Streets. Trueblood Jr. described being scared and driving to a friend's house where he called his parent panicked and sick. He has entered a written plea of not guilty in connection to the incident. This is Rachel Anea with your Real Talk 93.3 local news update, brought to you by McLemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at McLemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Slight chance for storms this afternoon. Otherwise, partly cloudy. High of 89, winds out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Partly cloudy again tonight. Slight chance for storms, 68. Thunderstorms likely tomorrow. Highs level off around 87, partly cloudy skies. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, 83.
Power Mill Training Academy equips motivated athletes focused on baseball and softball with the specific tools to reach their true potential. Now, you'll read that if you go to their website, but I'm here to tell you that, look, whether it's your daughter wanting to play softball, your son wants to play baseball, or maybe they just want to have fun and get the most out of their abilities, and that's where Power Mill comes into play. They've got coaches and camps that teach for every level of play for your son or your daughter. To learn more, go to PowerMillSports.com. There is no Bigfoot, Eddie. Would you stop with that nonsense?
There's a Bigfoot, Jeff.
I wish there were. By the way, I don't want you to point to me as the guy that takes all the fun out of the room. I wish there was the Loch Ness Monster. I wish there was the Bigfoot. I wish there was the Chupacabra. All the things.
They're all mythical except for the Bigfoot. The Sasquatch.
The Bigfoot?
The Bigfoot. There's big feet. There's lots of them.
So, like, different, breeds, like different kinds.
There's like, families. There's different families. And,
so there's if they're in the snow, you call them a Sasquatch.
Or the Yeti. Right,
yeah,
and then here in Florida, that's a skunk ape, and I've
never heard that one. By the way, why do you think it's real? We would have found them by now.
They're the hide and seek champions of the world. Nobody finds the Bigfoot.
I think you believe in Bigfoot.
I do believe in Bigfoot.
You don't believe.
I believe in Bigfoot.
Don't tell anybody you believe in Bigfoot.
I would go look for Bigfoot, but he scares me.
Gordo's, bringing the flavor and flair of Cuban food to Tallahassee since 1996.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now, back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
All right, welcome back. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3, Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV. You see on the screen, if you're watching, in fact, in the Heisen Lincoln Law Firm chat room on Warchant. He's the pitching coach at Florida State. Mike Posey joins us on the Jeff Cameron Show. Hey, Coach, first of all, thanks for joining us. Always appreciate it. And secondly, how much fun has this been for you? I mean, down the stretch we come, meaningful games at Hauser, huge series this weekend, starting tonight, obviously, against NC State. And Elliott Avent comes in here. Feels like he's been coaching forever. We've seen great battles between Florida State and NC State over the years. This feels like it's the way it's supposed to be, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, NC State's always going to be a team that's going to fight. They're going to be gritty. They're always tough. To have games like this in Hauser, top 25 matchup at the end of the season, that certainly feels right. As far as enjoying it as a pitching coach, obviously, there's some games we enjoy more than others, but it's good to see kind of Florida State back in the limelight where it needs to be at the top. And, we're excited about this weekend.
You've had to piece it together, man. The emphasis has been on you. I mean, you had to do a lot this year. Hey, I have a quick question that's an aside before I get into the piecing it together part of it. I was debating. I love baseball. I've told you this before, and I watch nightly. So a friend of mine got into an argument about 0-2 philosophies. I said, well, I'm talking to the pitching coach tomorrow. I'll ask him.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you like this. This is a baseball nerd argument. Here you go.
This is good. I like this.
Okay, so we legitimately had an argument about this. I won't tell you what I said, and I won't tell you what he said, because I want to hear you, and I don't want him to think that I've somehow poisoned the well from your response. So here you go. What is your philosophy? What do you believe in? What do you tell your guys, teach your guys on 0-2 counts?
So 0-2, you're basically trying to throw a ball outside of the zone, like you don't want to throw it in the zone. I think the best pitches 0-2 are pitches that look like strikes, but they end up being balls. So we call it strike to ball. The uncompetitive ball, it never looks like a strike. It's a waste pitch. You don't want to waste pitches 0-2, in my opinion. Greg Max had a philosophy on that, like an 0-2 waste pitch it just gets it back to 1-2. And now you got to make the same pitch again. So 0-2, you're trying to throw a ball outside the zone, but you want it to look like a strike and end up being a ball. And sometimes there's a fine line that guys cross. And I feel like, we've given up a fair share of 0-2 hits lately. And when we do, I've heard Link like, that's 0-2, he'll let me know about it. But, I don't get it. Those things don't just slide under the rug. We hear about those, but yeah, 0-2, you want to throw a ball, but you want it to look like a strike.
So this is, truthfully, that's how we got into the conversation. Like that, me and this guy, he played baseball. We both are baseball nerds, and we noticed that we'd given up quite a few 0-2 hits recently.
Yep,
and
absolutely.
So, I mean, and we're both Noles, so we were like frustrated, and we were going back and forth on that. And I said, well, I promise you, they're not telling him to throw it over the middle. And so I wanted to pick your brain.
Yeah, there's some times where like you're throwing to a half of a plate and you're trying to throw it kind of off that half, and you might leave it to the other half and it gets hit. And sometimes, when you're facing good lineups like Wake and Duke, they're not going to let you get away with 0-2 mistake as maybe some other lineups might. So for us, getting better 0-2, and it seems like it's poking up like middle to backside of the game when it really means something. I think at Wake it burned us in game one quite a bit. So basically want to expand the zone and not give the hitter something good to hit for sure.
You probably, it's a weird question to say it this way or to phrase it this way, but you have to kind of like the situation that you're in. You guys have found a way to navigate and keep your head above water despite having some pretty significant injuries impact your pitching staff. I guess I would ask this, since Link did say recently that, you guys still believe you're getting guys back. Specifically, Leiter and Whitaker are what people want to know about. I'll throw Ben Barrett in there. I know he threw 2 pitches, but I'll ask you about all 3. What is realistic? What's a realistic role is probably a better way of me asking this question for those guys coming back after more than a month off.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be realistic to throw those guys in there 80, 90, 100 pitches. But I do think there's going to be, realistic, them coming back throwing 1, 2, maybe even 3 innings. And, if you get those guys, if you get all 3 of those guys throwing 1, 2, and 3 innings, like they can hop on maybe 7 innings of a game, which would be huge. So for us, it's kind of a fluid situation. It changes daily. If I would have commented on, let's say, Leiter 3 weeks ago, like it's changed I feel like it changes every day for the last 3 weeks, but he's in a good situation. Works, we know he's going to get back. He's going to pitch. There's no season-ending surgeries needed or anything like that. So for us, it's just kind of day to day, making sure he can get through kind of the pain tolerance and what he needs to be doing. And honestly, like pitching is different than most things. Like, I feel like some injuries you can play through. Pitching is so precise. Like the difference between a ball and strike is 1/1000th of a degree of your finger. So for him, we want to make sure he's healthy. So we get the best version of him. We don't want him to limp out there not healthy.
And so this would probably be true for all the guys. Like the order of that, I think Link referenced yesterday, right? It's health. It's then you ramp them back up. What's that look like? Like when you're ramping a guy back up, you just said it's not realistic to expect them to come back and pitch, 90 pitches like a starter would. So what does the ramp up look like? What are you looking to see? Is it velocity? Is it being able to repeat? What is it?
A lot of times it's workload and how many pitches they're throwing in a week's time. And then in a 2, 3, and 4 weeks time, it's acute, chronic, their workloads. But what you're doing is kind of like a video game. Let's say you got 6 levels. They need to pass each level before they can go to the next level and the next level. And so behind the scenes, that's what's happening. There's a 6-level progression that they're trying to get through. If you're not behind the scenes, it's kind of frustrating because you feel like you just kind of get ran around the bush on what's happening. So, but for these guys, the first step might be playing catch back to 60 feet. The second step might be playing catch back to 90 feet. The third step, playing catch to 120. Then it might be 25 throws. The fourth step might be 50 throws. The next step might be 60 throws. And then you get them onto the mound, throw them 15 pitches. And then that goes well. Then you throw them 25 to 30 pitches. That goes well. Then you throw them versus hitters for 15. That goes well. Then you put them in a game. And that's kind of the ramp up and what it looks like. And they have to pass each level. And it's kind of a fluid situation that you're assessing daily.
Yeah, when you lay it out like that, I think it gives people a better understanding of how arduous it is and how many steps there are to it and why it would take as long as it does. Because, typical fan just wants their guys back. They just know we don't have a full deck here. We're not playing with a full deck, and you get frustrated. But, I wanted you to be able to lay it out there like, hey, This is what they have to do for us to even – and you guys care. I mean, obviously, you care about their health more than you do whether or not they can pitch this weekend. You got to make sure they're right.
Absolutely. Like Connor Whitaker, like behind the scenes, like you guys are just like, okay, we haven't seen Whitaker. Is he coming back? Like he's through step 3. Like we're getting ready to start step 4 with him, and it's been good through 3 steps. And so we're getting close. We're getting closer and closer with him every day. Ben Barrett, we ran back out of Duke. The velocity wasn't what we thought it would be, given what we saw in live hitter versus pitcher. He threw a bullpen this past week. The velocity looked back to where we thought it should be. So we're hoping that maybe moving forward now, he can trust, that he's healthy and those things. And so, that's kind of in a nutshell what it's looking like behind the scenes, I guess.
The situation with Ben, Coach, is interesting. Like you guys immediately recognized you didn't like what you were seeing. Like that was, grand opening, grand closing. That happened very quickly.
Yeah.
So is that a case? Okay, we're looking at the gun. We're going to see, I don't like that. Oh, I don't like that. He's got to go.
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty evident from the warm-up pitches that it didn't look right. And he kind of rolled a slow breaker in there. And I think the second best hitter in the country, Miller, he rolled him over the shortstop on the second pitch. And we were all like, he made it look easy. But yeah, we're trying to assess, then there's 2 pieces of this. There's the physical and there's the mental. And so, just being healthy, like guys have to trust that they're healthy. And we told Ben after that, like, hey man, if you don't feel healthy, you don't feel good. Like we're not asking you to pitch at 70%, And so for Ben, I think we're still working through. And honestly, he had a kind of a quick ramp up. And I think the intent is hard if you're not facing hitters and you're not in a game. So that was the first time he was in those settings. And I think as we get into this, I think it'll continue to get better and better. And we're gonna have to find spots to keep running him out.
Florida State pitching coach Mike Capozzi joining us on the Jeff Cameron Show. It's a tough year for pitchers. You look around the country, offenses are exploding again. College baseball is ruled by the home run yet again. What's the reason for that?
I think there's a lot of reasons. The strike zone is obviously very small. It's a tight strike zone. And not only is it a tight strike zone, there's pitches in the strike zone that are getting balled. I won't say which game, but there's a game this weekend where we had 10 pitches in the strike zone get balled in the strike zone, not on the edge or the corner or anything like that. So,
I know which game it was.
So you take that, and then the guys are more physical, they're stronger. With COVID, now they're older. You have guys that have played 5 years of college baseball. I think the balls changed about 5 or 6 years ago. The balls seem to be different, closer to what a Major League Baseball would be. And then you kind of put that into a cocktail of, and then everybody talks about pitchers not throwing strikes. Like I think it all goes into that. Sometimes the guys are, trying not to give up the long ball, or, the umpire starts squeezing you, and then you throw a ball down the middle and you get balled. That now you lose confidence of where you need to throw the baseball. But I think there's just a lot that goes into that.
There was a game. I'm curious about levels of patience and frustration that coaches deal with. You guys are pros. You've been around, you've seen it all. But I always wonder when I'm watching a game, there've been a couple games this year, and we won't get into specifics, where the strike zone was absurd. How hard is it for you to bite your tongue in those moments? Because guys are battling, and guys are getting squeezed, and that's, if you reverse it as an offensive player, we've all watched Angel Hernandez do his dumbass stuff, and you've got guys getting, rung up on pitches a foot and a half outside in the other box. I can't compete if you're doing that. You won't even allow me to compete. So I come back, flip it. You're a pitcher. You're hitting the corners. These guys all can hit. This is a great conference, and they're getting squeezed. How hard is it for you not to lose it?
It's tough. A lot of times you just try to ask the question, like, hey, where's that missing at? So at least they know, like, hey, there was a disagreement in what's being called a strike and not strike. Sometimes it's hard too. Like you get to the backside of these weekends, and these offenses are exploding on Sunday, and you got a young pitcher out there who's throwing quality pitches to the edges, and they're always balls. Now you're forcing that guy into the middle of the plate, and we all know, like, that's not where good things happen. So it's definitely frustrating, but at the same time, we're all going through it. It's not just unique to Florida State and our pitchers. I think every staff is going through it, and there's a level playing field with that. And these umpires, they call in a game, they're calling over 200 pitches. So if that guy takes a pitch off, or he he's not locked in for one pitch, and he balls it, like that could turn around and bite somebody in the rear end pretty hard on either side of the baseball. So it's not just us. I think everybody's going through it, and we're just trying to work through it best we can.
Some ways it's been interesting. You probably learned maybe a lot more than you wanted to learn about your bullpen this year because of the situation. What have you learned? I would ask about specifics, maybe about one guy in particular, because I felt like Tejada had great stuff in a game that didn't matter the other day when we were down by 10, but that stuff is there. I know you see it all the time. What goes into working with these kids that you've had come out of the bullpen? Some have succeeded, some have failed, some have gotten back out there and found a way to overcome whatever nerves they had, others not as much. You've had to learn a lot about these guys. When do you feel comfortable with certain guys?
Yeah, I think, the mental makeup goes into it as much as the physical stuff. So you might see 95, 96, 97, but it's the mentality and are they attacking hitters and are they going to do it when the chips are down? Ox, beginning of the year, it was the same boat. Like, he goes out there in a couple big spots and now his confidence grows. I don't think it takes much. It's just maybe a couple outings before you start to gain confidence and he starts to gain confidence. But a lot of it starts with the pitcher. Like, you can tell if they're confident, then we're going to be confident in them. And it starts with their self. But, definitely in college baseball and us, consistency has been kind of the thing that has lacked at times for some guys. And so they might have one good outing and then another bad one. And so you're looking for them to put together a string of 2 or 3, and then also doing it in a big spot that kind of matters. And so Yoel's in a good spot. He's trending in the right direction. Mm-hmm. I thought against Duke, he made quality pitches. Like, he wasn't just throwing, hard by those guys. Like, he was putting it in good spots. He's pitching in, down, and away. The slider, he's getting it down when he needed to. So now it's going to be, doing that in a big spot, which we're going to need him for sure. Like, definitely need him. So
yeah, I thought if there was something good that could come out of the tough way that the series ended, it was that, right? You got to see him pitching, really pitching.
Yeah, and he looks like a lot of these guys. It might take him a little bit to settle in. Like, he looked settled, he looked normal, like he didn't look phased. So now it's going to be okay, building off that and having another one, and then doing it in a big spot. Maybe a 1-run game late in the 7th, 8th, and 9th, and those things. So,
last couple of things, Coach, and I'll let you go. I'd be remiss, but just how good has Jamie been this year? And did you see him emerging to be this kind of an ace?
Yeah, we internally we kind of saw it evolving. The fall there were some slow spots, and then the early preseason, the spring. I think from the very first outing he threw live hitter versus pitcher, I think we all kind of saw this could be a special arm and it could be a special year, and not just good, like special. And he has been everything that we've needed him to be and more. And couldn't be more proud of the steps he's taken this year. And we also know there's still a lot of games to be had here, and that he's still kind of writing his story.
Another guy writing his story is Carson Dorsey, who we saw early in the year. I think it was the extended outing against JU, right? Wasn't it? And everybody saw the stuff.
Yeah.
And I think just listening to the fans and watching those games, I remember thinking, man, that stuff's electric. If he knows where it's going, he's going to get a lot of people out. But he's figured out where it's going, and now you've extended to the point where he's a legitimate starter for you every weekend.
Yeah, Carson's shown the ability to pitch, mix 4 pitches for strikes. He's throwing fastballs to multiple quadrants of the zone. There's times this year where he wasn't pitching. He was just trying to beat guys with stuff, and to his credit, he's learned, like, you have to pitch at this level. You can't just blow a fastball by hitters at will. And, these guys are good hitters. And so he's learned how to mix his pitches. And, he's definitely a guy that's evolved over the last 3 weeks. And it's been pretty fun to watch.
It's fun talking to you as always, Coach. I really appreciate it. We'll hope to do it again as the postseason gets started. Big series this weekend at Hauser, obviously starting tonight against NC State. I look forward to it. It's a pleasure to talk to you.
All right, Jeff. Thank you. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Take care. That's Mike Capozzi. He is the pitching coach at Florida State, and he has had to, at times, piece it together because of those injuries. Done a really good job with it, too. As you see, Florida State is finding ways to win series against high-quality teams. Florida State currently top 8 RPI. You're looking at playing home games in the postseason as it is right now. Should be fun down the stretch. Jeff Cameron Show, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Attention Florida, are you a victim of an auto accident? We introduce our live chat sponsor, Hyson Leka Law Firm, dedicated to representing injured clients statewide. If you've been in an accident, call Hyson Leka Law Firm at 813-803-0733 for a free consultation. Remember, there's no cost to you unless they win. Your interests come first with Hyson Leka Law Firm, the name you can trust for justice. Call 813-803-0733 now or visit HysonLekaLawFirm.com. Hyson Leka Law Firm, your advocate in times of need.
Tallahassee, Florida, solving
So
the
you'll
government
hit the Warchant return again.
and technology.
Process.
The trusted
And then
advisor
have me up on comp, and I'll hit the play
knows the importance of defining a clear and detailed.
And then that'll take us to 59.50 because
help
we've
your
exhausted
organization
grades.
create a strategy that sets
And
you on a
legal
path
liner
to
will
success. ISF, your vision plus our expertise brings
You do
your
not need to hit the legal liner, but you've got to hang out so you can close the windows.
ISF, solving the future.
Searching for the best place to spend time outdoors this spring and summer? The Golf Club at Summerbrook has all the amenities you and your family need. Purchase a family pool membership.
Then I'm good to go. Yeah, at 59.50, it auto plays. You don't have to hit the big play button again.
Pool in the entire city with a 6,000 square foot deck, covered pavilion, and poolside drink and food service. You'll feel like you're on vacation. Reserve your pool membership today. Visit the Golf Club at Summerbrook.com or call 850-894-GOLF. That's 894-GOLF.
Oh my God, what happened to you? You're walking so crooked.
Well, I was walking my alligator and I tripped on a cypress knee and I spilled my margarita.
Oh my gosh, your margarita.
Yeah, I blown my back completely out. I had to ride the alligator home. I don't know what to do. My back's killing me.
You're such a Florida man. You should know you should go to Finn Chiropractic.
Really?
You can go to their website and book an appointment and get you in as soon as possible. Go to finnchiro.com, FENNCHIRO.com.
You mean 24 hours a day I can make my appointment online and pay for it?
Yep, right on their website.
Wow, and it's discounted?
Yeah.
All right, that's what Florida man needs to do.
No lines, no waiting. Visit FenChiro.com to book your next appointment with a discount. FENNCHIRO.com. That's FENNCHIRO.com. It's Fen Chiropractic, where the chiropractors love you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Hold my beer. I'm going to Finn Chiropractic.
What will the Noles do to follow up an unconquered 2023? Warchant.com, the market leader in FSU football and sports coverage, is the place to find out. Join the largest FSU fan community and talk Seminoles sports in Warchant's Travel Council and premium recruiting message board forums. Enjoy cutting-edge team coverage led by managing editor Irish O'Fell and lead writer Corey Clark, and inside scoops on the transfer portal and recruiting classes with Michael Langston and Matt Lassere. Backed by the best national recruiting network in On3, there's no debate. Warchant.com's your ultimate Seminole sports source. Sign up today.
The Jeff Cameron Show is a production of the Warchant.com Multimedia Network. Check out Warchant.com today for the latest news inside Florida State athletics. That's Warchant.com. Now back to Jeff on Real Talk 93.3.
Thoroughly enjoyed that, talking to Florida State pitching coach Mike Capozzi. Always appreciate his candor and his time. This is a great stretch for Florida State baseball. It's thoroughly convincing, right, that they are a good team. They've sustained it. They right now are in line for a top 8 national seed. If they win these games this weekend, if they take 2 of 3 this weekend against NC State, and they're able to win down the stretch a couple of series, you're really going to be sitting pretty as you get into the ACC tournament. You would like to not have to go into that ACC tournament required to make noise. You'd rather just be able to go into that tournament and say, it's a round robin, whatever. We lose 2, we win 2. It doesn't really matter. We're set. And Florida State has a chance to do that. But they do have to take care of business. NC State's been a weird team. I think you saw NC State earlier this year. I know I did. Go and beat Clemson on the road. And that's a madhouse. It's also unprofessional and pitiful and not a lot of fun to watch because their baseball ops staff ruins the game. But they went in there and won that series. And they've also, if I remember correctly, I don't have their schedule in front of me, but I remember them taking the series against North Carolina, I think. So, like, they've been good against good teams. They've had some games where they weren't great. So, I think Florida State's the better team. I will tell you that. And there's no doubt. Listen, over the years, Elliott Avent has proved quite the foil, right? He's a guy that he's been around. He's been around. He's had some good teams. He's had some moments where I'm not in love with who they are. But again, this year's baseball team probably didn't do itself any favors, meaning Florida State, as to the way opposing fans and players feel about us. So I'm kind of like, all right, we're wearing a bit of the black hat right now too, with the way that we celebrate. Although I'm not convinced, Tom, that it's any different than the way every other baseball team acts now in college baseball.
Well, did you see Wake Forest? I mean, good Lord, those guys, they must celebrate when they wake up. They just get out of bed, they start dancing, and they start cranking the music, and they brush their teeth. There they go. They're dancing. They fill up the bowl of cereal, not even with milk. They just put the cereal in it. They start dancing.
You're like, here we go. We should all be that enthusiastic about living life to wake up with the kind of zeal that Wake Forest has of just walking the earth?
I don't think so. I disagree. They would hold a parade for doing something you're supposed to do. Isn't that
Right.
something we often say? You don't get a parade for doing what you should.
Yeah.
They sure as hell will hold one for walking with 2 outs and nobody on. It's like, congratulations, there's your meaningless walk. Okay.
Yeah, it's the Chris Rock line. You don't get credit for staying out of prison. I remember using some facsimile of that with my kids. Like Clark likes to tell me that he did his homework. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of what we do. you gotta do your homework. It's like when Matt Millar and I were doing the show way back in the day. I remember guys would try to get credit for showing up. And I was like, well, hold on a second. You don't get credit. You got to go to work. You got to go to work. Like, I don't know what to tell you. You got to go to work. I mean, that's how it works. Like, that's how you get paid. You got to go to work. You don't deserve a pat on the back for showing up. You're being paid to do that.
Yeah, there was this is kind of akin to that. In high school, my history class, you could do written reports on each chapter for bonus points. And this is the reverse of that. I didn't want the bonus points. I was going to get enough points. I don't need the extra work. I was golfing. I was in 2 clubs. I didn't have the time. I'm the only kid in the class that does not do the bonus reports. So the teacher makes it mandatory. Because not everybody wasn't turning them in.
Oh.
So I'm not turning them in, and you're going to make it mandatory? Hold your parade for the other people who are doing the extra work.
Right.
And you know what I did? I didn't turn them in. I lost points. Screw you. It's on principle. It's on principle.
Well, yeah, if I have an A in the course, F your bonus.
I don't need your bonus points.
Baby. I got time to live a life here. I'm not spending an extra 30 minutes on this stuff.
I got so unlucky. Everybody loves their U.S. history teacher. I hated mine. Hated her guts.
Oh, man. Bryce has Miss Mice out there. If you're listening, tip of the cap. He's in AP World History. He was almost in tears the other day when she said, and that is your final AP World History lesson for the year.
Wow.
He was devastated. He was like, other kids in the class were celebrating the end of the year, and he was like, damn it, man.
Yeah.
This has been awesome.
I was on the Xbox last night with my nephew. We play our games, and he's peppering me to help himself with his AP US History test. That's why it's top of mind for me. But he's going through it, and we're going through all the eras. And I'm like, man, when's your exam? He's like, the 10th. I'm like, good luck, buddy. That's a toughie. It's a tough exam.
That's good, though. It's good. Yeah, I'm encouraging Bryce. He's fallen far from the tree. He loves him some history. So that's between my dad and my stepdad and me. It's like, yep, you're definitely a Cameron.
Yeah, my teacher didn't know what Dresden was or what carpet bombing was. My American history teacher.
What kind of teacher? How is that possible?
I'm sure she would be deified by maybe some people in office right now that she just ignored some stuff. But yeah.
Yeah, that's not what we do. All right, so here's what we will do. Head over to Dick Hauser Stadium this weekend tonight, and tomorrow is a night game as well, which is awesome. It should be rowdy. It
on
should be
television tomorrow night. It's on ACC Network. How about that?
It's going to be a great game. I thought Micah was very insightful on the ramp-up process for the guys coming back. They sound encouraged. He got very specific about where they are, where Whitaker is, where Ben is, what we're working with Leiter. We'll see. I liked what he said about Yoel Tejada. That was good. You'd love to get him in a pressure situation, except we would all be squeamish. I wonder if he feels that. I don't know. We'll see.
I think that's every week with him. It's been a hard year to be Florida State's pitching coach in a year where you have this much success. I think for everybody on staff, they're like, what are we going to get tonight?
Yeah. Well, you got to be like biting your fingernails as the first pitch is delivered. You're like, oh, that was 14 feet outside. That's right. Okay. Yeah. This is where we are now.
Well, here comes Link Jarrett. Looks like his night is over.
Yeah. That's why I brought up the Ben Barrett thing. Grand opening, grand closing. He laughed at that. It was like, I was like, well, you did not like what you were seeing there.
It's the details. Of course, any coaching staff would do this, but you're watching his warm-up. You're watching the warm-up pitches.
This isn't good.
No.
This isn't good. And he's going to have to face one of the best pitchers in the country, hitters in the country.
Did you see 84 on that one? I saw 84. Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah. Really quick, rapid fire before we hit the weekend. It's time for probables. I'll get to it. Brewers, Cubs, Joe Ross, Hayden Wesneski. Orioles, Reds, Cole Irvin, Hunter Green. It's do or die time in Pittsburgh, everybody. This is a 9-game homestand against bad teams. Colorado and Anaheim come to town. Got to get it done, boys. Cal Quantrill goes for the Rockies. Martin Perez, who's been really good, will go for the Pirates. Giants, Phillies, Jordan Hicks, Aaron Nola, Blue Jays, Nationals. Yusuke Kikuchi. Patrick Corbin goes for the Nationals. Mets, Rays. Hey. Should be a good series. Jose Quintana going for the Mets. Aaron Savale going for the Rays. Tigers, Yankees. Reese Olson, Marcus Stroman. Angels, Guardians. Jose Soriano, Tanner Bibby. Rangers, Royals, Michael Lorenzen, Brady Singer. Mariners, Astros, George Kirby, Ronel Blanco. We got the Red Sox and the Twins. Tanner Houck, Chris Paddock. White Sox, Cards, Brad Keller, Sonny Gray. Padres, D-backs, Dylan Cease, Slade Ciccone. Marlins, Athletics, Ryan Weathers, JP Sears. And we round out late night, Braves, Dodgers. What a series. Should be fun. Charlie Martin going for the Braves and Gavin Stone going for the Dodgers. That is a look at those that shall reside on the bump. Tom, have a great weekend. Be well, everybody. It's been a pleasure. We'll talk to you again on Monday. Go Noles.